Welcome back to Psalms today. We're now into Book 5, the final section of the Book of Psalms, which stretches from 107 right the way through to the end, 150. So we're looking at Psalm 107. It's quite a lengthy psalm, so we're just going to take the beginning and the end and one sample section from the middle. And it begins in very standard psalm language. Oh, give thanks to the Lord, for he is good, for his steadfast love endures forever. Okay, so the steadfast love of the Lord is going to be the focus, just like it has been multiple times through the whole book. We're going to see that coming through in this psalm as well. He says, let the redeemed of the Lord say so, whom he has redeemed from trouble and gathered in from the lands, from the east and from the west, from the north and from the south. And so it's a call to praise for the people that have been redeemed from trouble. And that's going to be the sense of most of the psalm here. Verse 4 and following, some, and then he starts to give examples. There are 4 examples stretching from verse 4 down to verse 32. Some have been redeemed or rescued from a weary wilderness experience. And then some have been redeemed or rescued from prison, from the bonds of imprisonment. Some have been redeemed or rescued from sickness and the grave, ultimately, and some have been rescued or redeemed from the seas, which are quite terrifying too. And so these are the 4 examples that the psalm writer works through before then kind of coming to the final section. So let's jump in and just see one of those. We'll take the third one from verse 17. Some, there it is again, some were fools through their sinful ways, and because of their iniquities suffered affliction. They loathed any kind of food, and they drew near to the gates of death. So this is affliction in the sense of sickness, and they're coming towards death. But each time, and we see this if you went through all 4, there's a kind of a turning point. Then they cried to the Lord in their trouble, and he delivered them from their distress. He sent out his word and healed them and delivered them from their destruction. So then the implication or the conclusion, let them thank the Lord. Notice what it's for his steadfast love, for his wondrous works to the children of man, and let them offer sacrifices of thanksgiving and tell of his deeds in songs of joy. You'll see those elements in all 4 of those examples as you read through the psalm. Some, this was their situation. They cried to the Lord. He was good to them. He reversed their situation, and so they should thank him for his steadfast love and celebrate. Now, when we get to the end of the psalm, the final section kind of celebrates that God's in charge. He's in charge of nature. He's in charge of reversing the fortunes of humanity. And so we see that in these final verses right here. When they are diminished and brought low through oppression, evil, and sorrow, he pours contempt on princes. So this is a kind of a high to low, and makes them wander in trackless wastes. But he raises up the needy out of affliction from low to high, and makes their families like flocks. The upright see it and are glad, and all wickedness shuts its mouth. So there's the the whole psalm all the way through, and here comes the conclusion, verse 43. Whoever is wise, let him attend to these things. Let them consider the steadfast love of the Lord. That should be the focus. And that is the focus that's been established by this psalm, really to help us be oriented for the psalms that are going to follow. We've got a God who is a God of loyal love. And we might be in dire straits, but when we cry out to him, he is able to rescue and to deliver and to give us hope and to reverse our fortunes, to change our circumstance. And therefore, all people, all of those of us who've been rescued by God, should consider his incredible, loyal, steadfast, unshakable, unchanging love. It's toward us, and we're so blessed. Well, please enjoy Psalm 107 and know that Psalm 107 is setting a tone for the Psalms that are going to follow. See you next time for Psalm 108.